If you are struggling to get your morning routine into place, I have 4 questions today that you can ask yourself to help you figure out the issue so that you can get back on track. So, we're going to go right into it. Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renae Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast. When we're struggling to keep a morning routine in place, a lot of times what we have to look at is that we're not failing because it's a lack of willpower or a lack of motivation, but it's because of unseen barriers that are getting in our way. And these can be anything from physical, emotional, mental, environmental barriers. Like it does not matter. It can be anything that is around us in our lives, things that we're dealing with internally. All of these things can play a role in why our morning routine isn't necessarily working for us. But there are so many benefits to have a good morning routine. So I would encourage you that even if you're struggling to put a morning routine in place, to really ask yourself these 4 questions so that you can start making changes and putting a morning routine in place that actually works for you and gives you the benefits that you can start to see when you are consistent with this because they are incredibly beneficial. But we have to actually be following a morning routine in order to actually reap the benefits, right? So we're going to go through and ask ourselves these 4 questions when helping to identify the barriers in our morning routine. So you could ask yourself this as you're washing dishes or folding laundry or whatever it is you're doing. Maybe you're out on a walk. But if you have time, I would encourage you to grab a pen and paper and sit down and journal this out a little bit and just go through each question and then pause the episode and write down anything you can possibly think of. Because when you get to the end of the episode, you can look back and maybe that will be really helpful for you moving forward in being able to assess your morning routine and make the changes that you need to. So, number one, the first question is: am I trying to do too much too soon? And this one is really big because we have a lot of really we get in this mode of wanting to have a morning routine and we make all these changes and we build this routine and it's like this is going to be the game changer to make a difference in the start of my day and we start building this big routine. Well, if you are not used to having a morning routine and you have a morning routine that now takes up an hour and a half of your morning, and you're used to getting up at 8 o'clock, but this routine makes you get up at 6:30, that's gonna be a big shift. And maybe you'll do it for a day or 2, and then that loss of 3 hours of sleep is going to make a big difference, and by the 3rd day, you're gonna start feeling pretty tired. And then you might be feeling inclined to sleep in that day, and because you missed that day, then the next day is gonna be a little bit harder to get out of bed. You might snooze your alarm a few times, then you're gonna feel really groggy, and it's gonna be hard to roll out of bed. And it's just gonna be this cycle of feeling like you just can't get this into place because you started too much too soon. So, what you want to look at is not overloading your mornings with all of these perfect habits and routines, but to start small and to make sure that you are starting with just a little bit so that you can make some small changes. You can get really consistent with this small change for your morning routine and then add to it when you're ready and when you feel pretty confident that you're doing it consistently, then add a little bit more. So if your goal is to have an hour and a half morning routine, that's wonderful. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, but don't do that right away because you're only setting yourself up for likely failure because it's going to be a lot really fast. So always start small and know that you can build there. So if you are having a goal of an hour and a half routine, then maybe start with just 10 minutes. And then when you're ready, move it to 20 minutes. When you're really consistent with that, move it to 30 minutes and keep going until you have built the routine that works really well and has slowly adjusted to your life. And then that goes into the question number 2, which works with this is, does my current routine align with my personal priorities and my current lifestyle? So if your morning routine does not align with what your current life looks like and your personal priorities, it's not going to work very well. If you take my morning routine that I have built that works really well for me and you put it into your life, but you don't really align closely with what is important to me, then my routine is not going to be very beneficial for you because you might be getting through the steps, but it's not going to feel like it's very fulfilling and it's making that much of a difference for you. And it's also going to not align with your current lifestyle. So you have to look at your morning routine and you have to build a routine that is focused on what is important to you and works with your life and the season of life you're in, because that is what is going to allow you to build a routine that you want to show up for in the mornings because it's important to you. Not to me, but to you. If you can build it with what's important to you, you're more likely to show up for those things. And question number 3 is, what obstacles are showing up consistently? So this is where we're really starting to identify that bigger barrier that can be critical in creating a routine that sticks is if something is consistently popping up that is bringing us away from this morning routine that we really want to build, then we know that that is a place we should put our attention to start making some tweaks because we're always testing and we're always planning to complete these things. But when we test it and something is consistently coming up as a barrier, we know that we need to tweak that piece and then try it again and keep testing it out to see if that has helped and improved things. So, you're really looking at consistent patterns of these barriers, not just a random bad morning. So if you are getting a morning routine and you have it flowing really well for a couple of weeks, and then you're just exhausted one morning and you end up sleeping in and you sleep in that day and then look back and it's like, oh, I missed it. I didn't do it. That's not working. That's one day. But if you are consistently getting up for your morning routine and you are completely exhausted every single morning and you just can't kick it and you don't know what's wrong, then that is a barrier that is going to make it really hard to stay consistently showing up for your morning routine if you are constantly showing up exhausted. So, what can you do to help remove that barrier of constantly showing up like exhausted for your morning routine? Maybe it's drinking more water throughout the day because maybe you're dehydrated. Maybe it's going to bed earlier than you typically do and having a wind down routine so you can get to sleep earlier so that you actually have a full night's sleep when you are getting up for your morning routine. Maybe it is adjusting the amount of caffeine that you have that day. Maybe it is making sure that you actually have enough movement the day before because maybe you're just fatigued because you have no energy and you aren't getting any movement throughout the day. There can be so many different aspects to this piece that you can look at and try something to make a change, to test it and see if that helps give you more energy to be showing up in the mornings. So there's lots of different things that could be obstacles here. It could be anything from staying up too late the night before. It could be cluttered spaces and you just feel overwhelmed when you're getting up in the morning to work in that space. It could be not prepping enough the night before. It could be something that is just maybe it's a lack of clarity around what your morning routine actually is and what you want to accomplish. There's a lot of things that you can be looking at that are just obstacles and it's preventing you from being able to achieve what you want to achieve. And then we move into question number 4 is, what small adjustment can I make my mornings flow easier? So this is not focusing on a big overhaul or redesigning your entire routine. This is just focusing on the small tweaks that we can do that are going to allow us to test it out again. So make a small tweak, test it out, see if that's working, see if it's worse, see if it's getting better, and then go from there. And then maybe make another tweak from there. But you want to do this in small increments so you can see if it is actually helping. So this could be anything from setting your clothes out the night before, prepping your breakfast, setting up your coffee the night before, putting your phone in another room, not hitting the snooze button when you're getting out of bed and just get out of bed right away. That makes a huge difference. Maybe it's getting up 10 minutes earlier for your morning routine, or maybe you need to cut your morning routine a little bit shorter and maybe you need to sleep in 10 minutes longer. There are all these different things that you can try that will help by just making these small adjustments to make your morning routine easier and help you build the consistency so that you can have a really solid morning routine and it can grow with you rather than feeling like you just have constant barriers and you can't get your morning routine in place. So, these are important questions, and maybe they're really easy and you can just kind of fly through these and it's like, "Yep, I know this, this, and this, and I can make those adjustments and we're good to go." But if that's not you and you really need to sit down with a notebook and start writing these things out and getting really deep into what is working, what is not working, and how to make some adjustments, that's okay too. So everybody works differently, we think differently, our lives are different, we need different things for our morning routine. But these four questions will help anybody in any area, no matter what season of life you're in or what your morning routine looks like, because it's still customized to what works best for you. So, I'm going to do a quick recap for you of those four questions that you can ask yourself to help identify the barriers in your morning routine if something's not working. So, number one, am I trying to do too much too soon? Number two, does my current routine align with my personal priorities and my current lifestyle? Number three, what obstacles are showing up consistently? Like, again, it's not just a random bad morning, but this is a pattern that is happening. And number four, what small adjustment can I make to help my mornings flow easier? So I hope that you found this helpful. I hope that you are able to sit down and really think this through so that you can build a morning routine that works really well because I would be lost without my morning routine. I love it so much. And if you need some more encouragement or you want to learn more about working with me, I have a lot of things on my website that you can go and check out. I've got the free Audit Your Habits Guide. Your Organized Life Blueprint is a workbook that is available on there. We have the course coming soon, and the waitlist sign up is on there. You can also find the one on one coaching option if you want a personalized call with me. We set up on a like virtual call and we go through whatever it is you want to talk about, especially relating to those five foundational routines to put into place. And I am happy to help you in whatever way I can. You can also get links to join our free community on the website. So you can find it all at reneematt.com. And I will catch you back here on the next episode. Did you love that episode or learn something useful? If so, would you do me a huge favor? My goal is to grow this podcast and help as many women as I can break free from the overwhelm so they can truly enjoy their life. The best way for me to do this is for you to leave a 5-star written review on your podcast app and to share this episode with a friend or in your Instagram stories. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.